Hi, my name is Kirby. Welcome to my channel, Kirby Scruples, or welcome back to my channel, Kirby Scruples. Today I'm going to be doing a story time about the time I got blamed for getting another baptized witness disfellowshipped. And one of the videos I mentioned a girl named La Cienega. And La Cienega moved down to the South like 2 or 3 months after my family moved down to the South. So we ended up going to the same congregation, and we actually lived in the same apartment complex during that summer that I was there. We became really close friends. Like, we were always hanging out with each other and things like that. Well, she ended up moving from the apartment complex into a house, so she ended up going to a different school than I did. And she happened to end up going to the same school that my high school boyfriend, Freckles, was going to. Well, Freckles and her ended up like becoming pretty close because like they're both Jehovah's Witnesses. They understand the lifestyle and things like that. That was totally understandable. I got that. That made sense to me. And I didn't have like any issues with that. Like, I actually liked that because I really valued the both of them. Like, she was my best friend at the time and he was my boyfriend. So that was cool. Like, I wish that I was able to go to school with both of them, but that's just not how that worked out. I was in a different school district. Our senior year, she became close with this girl named, let's say her name is Angel. Okay, so there was times I would come over or hang out, or we would be out in field service, and she would mention this girl named Angel. Okay, cool, yeah. I thought eventually I would have actually gotten to meet this girl, Angel, but it didn't actually happen because, well, I started to realize it wasn't going to happen because Freckles and La Cienega, I started to have like a little code thing going on. Like, they were looking out for each other discreetly from me. So Freckles and I's relationship started getting a little like rocky. Okay, so it wasn't like Freckles pursued me, really. I just claimed him. Jehovah's Witness community, there's not too many men or not too many males that are Jehovah's Witnesses. So when I had met Freckles and I saw him a few different times at the Kingdom Hall, you know, I claimed him. He just didn't refute it, basically. Over time, I started to notice that Freckles just wasn't really into me. He was just entertaining me. I guess he was probably flattered by the fact that, you know, someone did like him, that kind of thing, but maybe I wasn't like his first choice, or maybe because like the way I was acting, and I was totally different. I was clingy, very, very clingy. That's just like kind of like how I was, unfortunately. So this Angel girl that La Cienega kept talking about got mentioned while we were at the mall. And so it was me, La Cienega, and Freckles all at the mall. That's how I kind of found out that Freckles and Angel were kind of having like this thing going on. And like I was putting 2 and 2 together. Then I also found out La Cienega got nominated for Homecoming Queen. And I was just like, why am I the last to find out? Like, you didn't think it was okay to share that with me? Which also too, I was kind of like, well, maybe she thought that she would think like I would say something because one of her relatives is an elder, okay? So that thought did cross my mind, but me and her were kind of already doing some kind of like not super risque things, but like we were walking the line. So if she would have told me that she was nominated as Homecoming Queen, it wasn't like I would have been like, oh my God, I'm gonna tell my parents and you're a bad association. It was like, I was not like that. So that kind of like hurt my feelings that she didn't tell me that she got nominated as Homecoming Queen. And then Freckles and her are kikiing, ha-haing together, having their little inside jokes. And I'm really feeling left out. And really, La Cienega was there to be a, like a chaperone for me. Like, well, for me and Freckles. So I was just, you know, I was the third wheel. That's how I felt. And like, they had more of a connection going on than Freckles and I did. My blood is boiling. I'm getting angry. By this time, we're in the car driving back home, and we're on the highway, and I think something else got mentioned about Angel, and I like just got mad and I was like, pull over the car right now. So Freckles pulls over the car on the highway, but on the side of the highway there's like grass. So he pulls over the grass, like he's kind of like, what's going on? That kind of thing, right? And I get out the car, I was like, I want to know what's going on right now. Like I was so mad. And they kind of just like, you know, it's this, like just didn't give me a straightforward answer. And so when people do that and they have to dance around things and they're not being straightforward, direct to the point, that's your answer right there. They're hiding something, they're lying about something, they're keeping something from me. And what I concluded is that Angel and Freckles were having a thing going on. That whole situation where La Cienega was keeping things from me, like kind of put a dent in our relationship. We still stayed friends and we still communicated and we still hung out and did some things. Now, La Cienega had her love, right? But her love still lived in New York. So she's all about this guy. Let's name him Johnny. Johnny. Like, I love Johnny. I want to be with Johnny. Always talking to Johnny. Like, she's just in love with this guy. And he's also a Jehovah's Witness. He comes from a good Jehovah's Witness family, like a good Jehovah's Witness family, right? He was on his way to like becoming a ministerial servant, or like that was his goal, like all these little different things with Johnny, right? This is after we graduated high school. Johnny finally comes down to visit La Cienega. First visit's cool, right? But like, I kind of noticed that their PDA was like really strong, like intense. Like I don't have a problem with PDA, whether it's me and my guy or her, like somebody else, and like I don't mind that. It doesn't bother me. But when it's like a whole makeout session and you're just like having an intimate session in public, that's when it's too much, right? So the first time he came down, it was more initiated by La Cienega, not necessarily him, but he wasn't saying no either. So like I got a good taste of that the first time he came down. So the second time he came down, it was just like extreme. We were supposed to meet up at La Cienega's place like in the morning, so I did, and then he was supposed to come after so that I could be the chaperone. Well, I get there and I'm like knocking at her door and no one's answering. Now I'm always at her place, so I kind of just see if the door was open, and it was. So I opened the door and then I'm like, La Cienega, like just calling her name in the house, right? And I hear nothing, but I'm hearing like some stuff like going on in her room. So I'm like, I go like towards her room, I'm like, La Cienega, and like I like do like that, and like her door like kind of swings open. And Johnny is there and La Cienega is there. Now Johnny's fully dressed and La Cienega is like in a tank top and like some shorts, like her, like kind of like sleep clothes, right? And like they're like making out and like his hands are like kind of like down her shorts, and I'm just kind of like, ugh, okay, whatever. So I just go walk out to the living room. So I'm slightly annoyed, not like overly annoyed. I'm just kind of like, you know, so I just sit in the living room. So Johnny comes out and like we just have like small talk or whatever. I just wait for La Cienega to come out, right? So we go on the rest of the day, whatever. But the entire time that we were out, they're just like making out, lip locking, passionately kissing, like being super intimate out in public. And it was just uncomfortable. People were like doing all this and I'm like with them, and I'm just like, and I'm saying stuff like, okay,
get a room.
I'm being vocal about how intense they are and like they need to like calm down, chill out, like take a break, like breathe, that kind of thing. And they're just like ignoring me. They're not listening to me. La Cienega is not getting it. I was like, well, let me just like reach out to her elder relative. Now, did not think anything was going to happen when I called her elder relative. So I said, hey, you know, La Cienega is my friend and I chaperone for her and Johnny, and I really like them for each other. But like the PDA is like intense. Like, I don't know what to do. Do you think you could say something to her? And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll handle it. That's how the conversation went. I never mentioned how I walked in on them, nothing like that, right? So I want to say a week or two later, La Cienega ends up getting announced that she's disfellowshipped. And I'm like, what? Why would she be disfellowshipped? And I'm thinking like, maybe there's something I didn't know, something else that happened on one of the days that I wasn't there chaperoning. Like I did see them in the room together that one time, and that was pretty risky. And so I was just like, maybe something actually happened, you know, that I didn't know about, right? And then I end up finding out that La Cienega and Johnny get married, like, without like the whole Jehovah's Witness wedding that she really wanted to have. Like I wasn't invited. Like La Cienega and I were not talking at this point. It was about 9 months to a year later, okay, because now Johnny and La Cienega are married, so she moved back up north. I see her at the memorial, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's La Cienega. And she's walking up to me quickly. And I'm thinking like, oh, I walk into her quickly, like, cause I missed her. And then when someone gets reinstated, like it's a good thing. In the moment, in that quick moment, I'm just thinking she's just like excited to see me. But she wasn't. Like, she gave me a hug. And then this hug was so aggressive and so tight. And like, La Cienega, she was not like a little girl. She wasn't like super tall or anything like that. But she was like a big girl, right? And like she grabbed me up and she like just grabbed me up like really freaking tight. And I was just like, you're hurting me. Like I like whispered that in her ear, because keep in mind, like we're at the memorial, right? And everybody's seeing, because we're like in the middle of the Kingdom Hall, because I'm going up to her and she's walking up to me quickly, and I'm like, I thought we were just like, kind of like how you meet like in the meadow fields or whatever, like that kind of thing. Like, and she's hugging me all tight, like doing like this. And I was like, you're hurting me. And she's like, it's nice to see you again. So I like walked away and then found my seat. And then the whole time at the memorial, I was just kind of like, what the heck was that about? This is like my third time getting in trouble with the elders. And this time her relative cousin was in this elders meeting when I'm like confessing like whatever I had did at that time, right? And at the end of the meeting, he goes, so now you know what to do the next time someone else gets in trouble. And I was just like, what? And he was like, yeah. Now you know what to do the next time someone else gets in trouble. And like, at first I wasn't getting it, but then I was like, because this had nothing to do with someone else. This had something to do with me and whatever I was like in there for. When he had said that, I was confused. And then like it hit me. He basically was saying that I was the reason for La Cienega getting disfellowshipped. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he was like, well, you could have protected La Cienega better. And I'm like, how? I thought I was protecting her when I went to you, when I told you about the PDA. I don't know anything about nothing else about why she got disfellowshipped. As far as I know, you can't get disfellowshipped for kissing. Like, you might get on public reproof, private reproof, but straight up disfellowshipped, like not anything that I ever learned about. So if you got disfellowshipped for kissing out in public, I didn't know that was a thing. And I asked for you to speak to her, not bring a whole elders meeting together, you know? So I was getting blamed for her getting disfellowshipped. And like, that really just blew my mind. But that was my story with La Cienega. And after that, our friendship completely ended. Never even heard from her again, even years later. So that's my story with that. That is my story for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.